With Dems smelling blood in the water after what happened last week, could the White House get any Democrats on board for tax cuts? Joining me now is Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist. I don't think Chuck Schumer would ever go with the president on anything these days, but there are certain Democrats who've been calling for tax cuts for a while, and Art Laffer, your friend and mine, Grover, spoke to this point earlier today. I want to get his comments and then get you to respond. Play the tape.
I know a number of the Democrats there, and it's a large group, Stuart, maybe 40, 45, 50 of them, who really think the corporate tax rate is way too high. I know a number of the Democrats would be willing to trade a carbon tax for cutting personal income tax rate, static, revenue neutral, and I would do that deal every day of the week and twice on Sunday myself.
So, Grover, there are 2 points there that I want to unpack. First, corporate tax cuts. Do you know of 40 Democrats in Congress that would join the president to cut the corporate tax rate?
No, that's absurd. Now, in private conversation with business leaders, Democrats, senators, and congressmen to raise money have been telling the business community they agree the rate needs to come down for 15 years. But in power, they never do it, and always they wanted, if they even talked about a teeny cut in the corporate rate, they wanted a $1.4 trillion net tax hike. That's what Obama and the Democrats always asked for during his 8 years. That's fantasy world.
So they would have to do it without any Democrats. They'd have to cut taxes, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What about then the trade-off? You heard Art Laffer saying he'd be willing to trade off carbon. Now, I hate the idea of a carbon tax. I think even Nancy Pelosi couldn't pull that one out when she had a full Congress and a Democratic president. Is there any talk about trading a carbon tax increase or a new carbon tax plan with some kind of cuts in individual rates?
In the bowels of the most far-left environmental groups, they talk about that, but not among civilized societies. There is no...
Well, hold on a second. Art Laffer's a very civilized guy, but go ahead.
Okay, I think you must have a different guy than Art Laffer, because I know Art Laffer, and Art Laffer would never say anything that foolish.
Well, we played the tape.
Look, we have the votes for significant tax reduction and reform. To take that opportunity and marry it with a massive tax increase on energy that would kill jobs is, one, not something that Trump is interested in doing. He ran against the people who wanted to destroy whole sectors of the economy with a carbon tax on energy. Two, look, there was a real challenge. 24 Republicans, for reasons that baffle me, decided to double-cross the president and not vote for $1 trillion in tax cuts and
You're
$1
talking
trillion
about the health care bill,
in spending reform.
Right.
Now, why anybody would look in the mirror and think they were Reagan Republican?
Well, after that, Grover, after what we saw happen, is it still conceivable that by August the president could get all Republicans on board of a tax cut?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Largely because that was such a mistake. I don't think the people who pulled that stunt had any idea. They thought they were, spitting at the president. I don't think they understood they were making it much more difficult to do tax reform. What we'll probably end up with is temporary tax reform because we needed the lower taxes and less spending of repealing Obamacare in order to make the tax plan that the Republicans and the president have permanent. It may only last 10 years now, like Bush's.
Okay.
That's
and
the cost of what those guys did Friday.
No new carbon tax. A carbon tax is not necessary.
Never. No.
Grover Norquist,
happening.
you're not leaving any room for doubt there. Grover Norquist, thank you very much.